So Rabbi Rojzman has graciously given me the honor and permission to introduce our speaker today, Mel Mann, because I've known Mel Mann since I was a rabbi, since I became a rabbi. We met when I came to Kendall, Samuel. He was helping out already, a Torah reader, a davener, board member, president, just everything. And then I was privileged to marry him and Adele. That was an incredible experience. It was 2 weeks before we opened the building, or 1 week? 1 week, right? We were kind of late on opening the building, so they had to get married in our rental facility. But we decorated it nice. Me and him did a good job the day before. We got together and we were painting and cleaning up, doing a great job. And they have 2 beautiful sons and grandchildren. And he's been a driving force behind many, many synagogues. And of course, we know a driving force behind March of the Living. He's done everything for March of the Living. I remember when you were schlepping as a photographer in March of the Living, and then helped planning and creating the itinerary, and then creating the adult. There wasn't an adult March of the Living then, and the idea of the adult March of the Living, then Friends of the March of the Living, and growing it, and absolutely a driving force with all the detail and all the devotion. And he does this all in honor of and in memory of his parents, survivors, extraordinary people. And this is his driving force. This is his commitment to, and all the other relatives that he lost. And he understood March of the Living is how you teach, because you have to be there. You have to be there. We create this, the thousands of kids and adults come back and they tell the story, and they're devoted to it and devoted to Israel. It creates a tremendous connection to Israel. Mel and I have been on the march, I don't know, 5-6 times already, and we have a custom. We have eaten ice cream in every city. Right? Everybody else is sitting there, where are we going for dinner? You know, as me and Mel just said, come on, just let's find the ice cream. And we had ice cream in Germany, and in Budapest, and in Krakow, and in Warsaw, and in Jerusalem. We know how to find the ice cream, and it's a wonderful friendship. I admire his commitment. The March of the Living, there's no doubt it wouldn't have grown into the incredible powerhouse that it is, particularly with the adults, if it wasn't for Mel's commitment and devotion to it. So it's our pleasure to welcome Mel Mann to Beth Torah today to speak about the upcoming march, which we are so proud to bring so many people from our congregation on it this year, and we will continue to make that commitment for the future.
Good Shabbos, Chag Sameach to everyone. Thank you, Rabbi, for the wonderful introduction. But I must be frank with you, I stand on the shoulders of many that came before me, many of which are sitting in the front row. We'll talk about them in a minute. So I'm proud to serve as the executive director of the organization called the Friends of the March of the Living. The Friends of the March of the Living was created primarily by a few people, including Marshall Baltuck, the founding executive director, along with a special survivor named Leo Martin. And their vision collectively was to create something so that no student should be denied the opportunity to be able to afford to go on the trip. And somewhere along the line, we figured out that running an adult trip may be one of the best ways to raise money. And I'm proud to say that it works. And each and every year between Broward and Miami-Dade, the funds that are created by the Friends of the March of the Living in the past, and God willing in the future, make it possible for teens to attend the program. So I'm honored to be here today, and I'm very privileged to stand here. A few days ago, we gathered to celebrate Pesach. At the Seder table, we recited a very familiar piyut, a liturgical poem. And of course, we're talking about V'hisha Amda. And it talks about that in every generation, our enemies will rise up to smite us, but yet we persevere. Yet we're able to go on and survive. As we embark on our journey in a few days to Poland, these words will sadly ring true as we retrace the tragedy of the Shoah at places of great terror. However, our takeaway from this experience will be our triumph of survival and the formation of the State of Israel. What happened on October 7th in Israel was the largest number of Jews murdered since the Holocaust. It is dafka, it is exactly because of October 7th that we must double down and go to Poland and say with our loudest voice, never again, because never again means now. This year we're very fortunate to have a group of adults that are going to be accompanying us from Beth Torah. Let me say that Beth Torah has very deep roots to the March of the Living, going back to its inception in 1988. Rochelle Baldock, who was the director of the March of the Living in Broward County, is one of the original marchers going back to 1988. And Kanena Horace, she's still marching. She'll be with us next week. But Beth Torah in general has always been a very strong and a driving force behind the march. Many, many congregants, many, many teens. You heard Brian Koch, he's going to be coming with us. He went as a teen in 1996. So now he comes back second time around as an adult participant. So we're very privileged to have Rabbi Rojzman will be coming. You've heard Rabbi Farber has been on the trip many times. Jill will be coming, our executive director here. President Michael Kotzen and his wife Marla. Past President Rob Goldfarb will be here. So there's quite a few people that you're all aware of, and many others that are here today. Forgive me if I don't announce all your names, but there are many others from Beth Torah that will be coming this year on the trip, both teens and adults. Another member of our, I call it our dream team, is Mark Baranek, who's no stranger to Beth Torah as he teaches in the conversion program along with the rabbis. March of the Living is a special, unforgettable experience that everyone will remember for the rest of their lives. I often tell people when we sit in parlor meetings, how many people have been on a cruise? And hands go up. How many people have been on 5 cruises, 10 cruises, 20 cruises? And then I say, do any of you remember any of them? And the answer is usually, not really. How many of you have been on a March of the Living? It's a day in your life you never forget. It's one of those days that are up there with the day of the birth of your children or your marriage or any other milestone. It's one of those unforgettable experiences. But it's more important to remember what happened during the Shoah. More important for us to retell the stories so that, God willing, we can find a time when they won't come out to smite us. Too many of my family members left this world through a chimney. And there's no one to recite Kaddish, and there was no one to recite Yizkor. So why do we take this trip? We take this trip because the neshamas, the souls of those who were murdered, are never forgotten. I'd like to believe that those neshamas are waiting for us to return each year. May we all be fortunate to go in peace and return in peace. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
Thank you. I was in that march that Marshall led in 2004. I learned to love the march through Marshall and through Rochelle. And I hope that we will inspire people to get a little bit what I got through you, Marshall, in 2004. And thank you, Mel Mann, for all the amount of hours that you're investing. So this is another amazing experience for all those who will be embarking, God willing, next week.